Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, March 13th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you're into Bitcoin, stick around to the end because I'm going to do a bonus chart analysis. First couple clarifications. Number one, that candlestick right there will be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker number one, RGLS, big mover today. And now we have a bit of a pullback. So one of these situations where nice little pattern here has formed, and when nice patterns that you got to think a lot of other people are watching, then call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let's get this pattern here drawn into play, or something very similar to what I think a lot of people are going to be watching. So we have a resistance trend line like that. And then we have a support area down there. Let me change that to green. So if you could call this a wedge if you want, I would have no problem with that. But another way you could look at this, and let me just change it to one color and make it easier to see, hopefully. So we're a resistance, our support, the big explosive move right there. For you golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual, put a golf hole down there. That would be a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it plausible to think that the price can consolidate out and then come up here and break up through the upside of that pattern, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a reasonable conclusion to reach. So if you like prices down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next, SOXS, and overall today's chart's hanging in there just fine. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level because we got more confirmation that this red line here that I drew in yesterday's video definitely is playing a role. In fact, opening 30 minutes, check it out, and I promise I have not moved that red line. If you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back in the video archive and you can watch a previous video, but put that red line in there, check it out. The power of charts. Price came right up there and directly rejected at that area. So moral of the story here, moving forward, I'm going to extend this level out, but that red line there is still going to be very, very important to watch. And one of those areas where you got to think there's going to be just that many more people watching. So once again, potential self-fulfilling prophecy type situation where if the price can come up there and break up through it, then that break in of itself could certainly create good solid buying pressure. In terms of areas of support, I'm not going to call it a do or die level, but I would say that purple line there, the 50 period moving average, definitely very, very important. Again, not like if the price drops below there would I say that the entire chart's destroyed. But, you know, as far as this current upwards movement is concerned, then yeah, you definitely want to see the price hold, because if it does, then from more of kind of a bigger picture standpoint, you still do have essentially kind of a bigger picture bull pennant in play. But if the price breaks down that purple line, you know, representing that lower level right there, then things start to look a little bit more sketchy. Next one, CLRO, and we have ourselves quite the interesting last 30 minutes going on here. Price was up there and it's dropped back down, but what that has done now is created a level where you got to think. A ton of people have been like, oh, you know what, let me just connect these two highs. Very, very basic trend line to draw, and I don't say that, you know, as any sort of, you know, arrogant way, like, oh, I only draw complicated. No, the idea is to draw simple ones, because then that way you can know that you got to think a lot of other people are watching it, which once again reintroduces that talking topic of self-fulfilling prophecy. So you got to think a ton of people have drawn that level right there as resistance, and then in terms of areas of support, bottom part of this consolidation where it kind of rounded off nicely. Change that to green down there at $1.81, and then once again from just overall pattern standpoint, resistance, support, big upwards move here, golf hole down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Next one, SOUN, and a very interesting situation happened today. And let me just illustrate this by drawing out the overall trend line. So there had been this downwards trend line here, which you can see by using this point way over here, and then that one right there. And it did a good job when I zoom back in. So just keep in mind, that's where that red line is coming from. And you can see right there, actually, price came up there and was rejected by it. But next candle came up, broke through it. So that's the overall context, is there is this overall bigger picture trend line that has been broken. And that brings up, yeah, just get rid of that level. It's served its purpose now. So that's, again, the general context. So now it's just a question of, okay, what are some other potential battlegrounds? And the next key area of resistance that I would say to keep an eye on moving forward, going to be that former area right there of support, which is pretty close to at $7.15. If $7.15 can be broken, the next key level after that right up there at those highs, right around $7.55. So 715, 755, next key overarching levels of resistance. In terms of levels of support, in my opinion, the easiest way to track all this, just to watch that purple line right there, 50-period moving average. As the name implies, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So essentially, it's like a trend line that's going to draw itself for you. So as long as the price stays above the trend line, quote unquote, then overall the trend is fully in the bull's favor, because in order to stay above that trend line, by default, the price has got to be put in those higher lows, which is what you want to see. But overall, great day today. Now all eyes on 715, so let's see if the bulls can get the break of that level. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC, and overall, it's drifting along. It's not collapsing. It's not exploding either. Yes, the bears won a little bit today, but all things considered, it's hanging in there, and quote unquote hanging in there, being defined as staying above that green line right there at $4.20. Now, the one downside here is from a pattern standpoint, you have the reverse of what we've been talking about. We have a bear pennant pattern. Now, just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean the price is for sure going to go up. Same is true here. Just because you have a bearish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to collapse downwards. Now, would that be shocking to anybody? I don't think anybody would be shocked to say, oh, a bear pennant broke to the downside. But that doesn't mean it's for sure going to happen. But like I said, it's hanging in there, but things are starting to look a little sketchy, and the main bit of sketchiness is coming from the overall fact that that bear pennant is forming. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol MARA, and another very, very rough move as it continues to break down through these areas of support that have been mapped out with newer lows here. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. In fact, I'm actually just going to drag this level down, because what's going to happen tomorrow, that 50-period moving average is going to move itself down below that red line right there, which would take higher priority. So because of that, I'm just going to drop this down to more of a near-term level of resistance right there at $20.50. So keep an eye on that. But again, even if the price does break above that 2050 mark, I mean, that's a step in the right direction, but I want to get overly excited because not that far away, you're going to have that 50-period moving average looming down on you. And then as far as areas of support, nothing fancy, nothing complicated here at all. Literally just asking the question, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And the bleeding finally stopped down there at 1925. So nothing fancy behind that other than just simply where did the price stop going down. So if the price gets back down to 1925 and then breaks through there, that would be a sign that the bears are continuing to gain that much more control. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And overall, nothing has changed. What do I mean by that? Well, for those of you that have watched past videos, you know that we've been talking about this sideways channel. And you can see the price essentially is, well, as of now, right in between this channel. Now, I will give some credit where credit's due, because this morning, things were not looking good. Price came down here and actually broke to the downside of that channel, and things were looking very sketchy, but the bull showed up in a big way and bounced back inside of the channel, and like I said, have gotten back into the middle of it. So what was looking like a potential, train wreck, break to the downside of this overall channel, the bulls, like I said, stepped up very quickly and in a very strong manner and pushed the price back upwards. So from that angle, the overall channel still in play, 173.50 bottom of the channel, 183 top of the channel, and then in the very near term, I'd say the main area of resistance would just be this little trend line right here that has formed. So you can keep an eye on that. But assuming you care about more so the bigger picture point of view, that sideways channel is still fully intact. Next one, AAPL Apple. After a very rough, previous week, the price is starting to show some signs of life again. The main signs of life via just simply putting in these higher lows. And the easiest way to track those higher lows is going back to that purple line now, which is that 50-period moving average. So as long as that moving average moves higher, and like I said previously, in order to stay above a line that's moving higher, by default, the price is going to need to continue to put in those higher lows. So that's really the easiest way to kind of gauge the health of this current movement right now, is just watch that purple line, and as long as the price stays above it, that's what you want to see, and you have actually a fantastic example of that right there. Look, check that out. Beautiful bounce right off that purple line. In terms of areas of resistance, nothing fancy here. Back on Monday, the price got rejected from right up there around 174.40. So keep an eye on that. If the price can push up through there, next key overarching level would then be right up at 175.50. But all things considered, the past few days have been looking good, higher highs and higher lows. So let's see if Apple can continue to do that. Next one here, NIO, and overall good movement. Now, not as explosive as it was on Monday, but the key update here, it kind of also reveals the positive nature is I'm going to go ahead and make an adjustment to this area of resistance, and now that we have more data, adjust this area of resistance up to 630. And assuming you're long, whenever levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, that's always a good sign. And as you saw here, that's what needed to be done in that situation. Moving forward, the ideal level of support, meaning, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest going forward? And that would be if the price can stay above that trend line right there, which I'm putting in a play with changing to green. Now, from an overarching standpoint, it's not like if the price falls below that level, that implies the entire chart's destroyed. But if it could stay above there, that would definitely be a great sign of strength. From more so the overarching standpoint, we once again refer back to that purple line, 50-period moving average. So as it slopes upwards, as long as the price is above there, then the overall trend is bullish. But in terms of what would make the chart look the healthiest, definitely if the price could stay above that near-term trend line. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also go up. I put that trend line into play past couple of days. We've been watching it, and the power of charts. Price came up, broke through that level, and a very, very impressive move today. And as I speak right now, you can see the price is currently pushing to new highs. Market closed in about 5 minutes, so it could make some more progress. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. And we'll zoom in here and look a little bit closer to things. So yes, overarching level of resistance still up there at 63.50. Nothing has changed in that regard. Although I do want to add in just one more area of resistance before you put too much emphasis on that 63.50 mark. And that is that area right up there at 62.55. So in fact, let me just make it a little bit different to stick out. Let's try that one instead. There we go. So 62.55 initial level, and then 63.50. In terms of levels of support, the ideal level in terms of what would make it look the healthiest moving forward is if the price can stay above the purple line. If that doesn't quite hold up, then yes, staying above that pink line would be the next best bet there. But there's no doubt about it. A lot of momentum here has formed headed into Wednesday. So we'll see if that momentum carries into the next couple of days and brings it back up to do battle with these areas of resistance. So that wraps up the top 10 stocks. For you Bitcoin traders, I'll do that chart here in just a second. But for you stock traders, definitely go get signed up for that free class. It'll be soon, Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll see you there in just a couple days. But let's get to now the Bitcoin chart. One quick clarification, we are no longer looking at the 30-minute time frame. We are looking at the 4-hour time frame. And for those of you that watched yesterday's video, this will all make more sense. But for those of you that did watch it, you know that I called for a pullback. And definitely got a pullback here. Although to be fair, very, very big pull. I mean, you can't make this stuff up either. And like I said, you don't have to trust me. Just go back and watch yesterday's video, and I'll turn this into a quick plug. Go get signed up for that free class, because check it out. Look right where the price bounced. I have not moved that red line down here at all. Bounced beautifully off that level after the pullback, which again, I called for. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just go back in the video archive and watch. And I say none of that to brag about me. I do say to brag about charts and technical analysis. Is it a perfect tool? No, nothing is perfect. Is it worthwhile? Absolutely. So again, go get signed up for that free training. But here we had the falling wedge. The price pulled back. But other than that, everything remains the exact same. You still have the... I don't know why that is red, because usually I change my supports to green. So I'm not sure what happened with that. But regardless, everything is still the same. You still have that bottom part right there as support. You still have the top level up there as resistance. Now, just the one thing to watch is if the price does come back down there, does it hold? If it breaks, then again, I'm not saying Bitcoin is crashing or anything like that, but I could definitely see a deeper pullback at that point, because that would technically speaking be a break to the downside of this bearish rising wedge pattern. But it has pulled back as I said that it would. And bounced nicely off the bottom part of that pattern. But that's what I'm still curious about is, does the price revisit the bottom of the pattern? If it does, can it hold or not? Or is Bitcoin getting ready to just say, no, we're done with this bearish pattern. We're done with the rising wedge, and break to the upside of the pattern. The next 24 hours is going to be very, very entertaining. So that wraps up the analysis. Again, even if you just trade crypto and Bitcoin, then what you'll learn about here at this class will still 100% be relevant to you. So get signed up. It'll be, again, Thursday, March 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely go get signed up. If you enjoy these analysis videos, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, give me your watch list, tell me what you're looking at for tomorrow. And all those things really do help out the algorithm, help out the channel. So I thank you in advance. And again, go get signed up for that free webinar.